No, Eruption is not the greatest tapping moment of all time. Although it may be the most influential, most iconic, I don't think it's the greatest. I think this passage at the end of the Flying High Again solo by Randy Rhoads, the late great Randy Rhoads, I think this is the greatest tapping moment in guitar history, primarily because of what's going on behind the scenes. The greatness in this tapping phrase lies within the outlining of the chords, and that's why it's a tough pick to go over Eruption, because Eruption does some cool chordal outlining as well, especially when the tapping really gets going. But this, I think, is just so much fun to break down. And I looked on the internet to see if anybody's really looked into this guitar solo before. I couldn't find anything. It's just a lot of people showing how it goes, which is great, but I think there's a ton of meat on the bone. So we're gonna talk through it. I'm going to go through not only the licks itself, because those are pretty simple, we're going to go through the harmony and find out exactly what the potential of this guitar solo is, because I don't think it ends in the recording. I think we can take it even further. So first I'm gonna outline the guitar solo, and I am gonna use a fret wrap, which is just gonna clean things up for our guitar lesson here. Normally when I'm performing I wouldn't use something like this, but just to keep things clean and tidy and not have any noise for us, we have this motion. We're tapping the 16th fret of the E string twice, pulling off to the 8th fret and hammering onto the 11th fret, and it yields this pattern. So as you see, the pattern remains the same. It just goes in this little diagonal fashion. And the next part mixes up the diagonal motion a little bit, but it's still the exact same pattern, same distance apart. So that is the entire run. And obviously the chords are what matter here. So I'm gonna take off the fret wrap now and show you the chords first, and then we're gonna get into what I think is the hidden gem in this guitar solo. So the chords are as follows. So this doesn't necessarily fit into one key. You could say it's outlining a major 7th chord, and that's what I'm alluding to in this whole build-up. So we have a G sharp, we have an E, we have a C sharp, and then we have an A. So when you rearrange those notes, we have... That's a major 7th chord. And guess what's happening in each tapped line? This is a G sharp major triad. And over that G chord, it is implying that G major tonality. And if you notice here, each root note that I start on, or technically the 3rd note of each subsequent chord, it goes. So watch my index finger. If you notice here, the major 7th is hidden, like a hidden treasure map right here. And it is just basically outlining the fact that we are perceiving these major 7th chords without actually realizing it. But it is what makes this so special. And then this whole concept repeats itself in the second part where we go. So really what we have here is major 7th chords all over the place. So that is what I am hearing after the fact, and at the same time it's so awesome. We have all these major 7th chords. It's really a different key each time he changes strings. So that's ridiculous. That's like whipping through the modulation at great heights, flying high. I think the best way to really outline this concept too is to take those chords and take this idea and put it into a more cleaner context, so that way you can really get a sense for how far you can stretch these chord changes. So as you can hear there, these changes are just so fun to jam on, and while they're relatively simple chords, you could embellish the chords if you wanted to and really make this thing completely insane. But just sticking to the major 7 chords and working through the improvisation cycles like that is just such a great way to hone your chops and really develop your ear and give yourself a sense of melody that maybe you were searching for. And as you can tell, this is why I think this is the greatest tapping lick of all time, the greatest tapping passage, because it implies so much more than what's happening at the surface level. And only by diving deep would we have discovered it together. So thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in supporting my channel further, please check out Guitar Super System. You can sign up for just 10 bucks a month, and well, it's awesome. It's all my guitar knowledge in one place for a nice little subscription. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, keep shredding.